Hi, I'm Roger Katchuk, and today we're at the Broome County Health Department on Front Street in Binghamton, and we're going to go in and talk a little bit about the installation of septic systems, what's required, what's the process, and I think we're going to find out it's easier than many people think. It's a series of steps, and once you go through it, you'll see what it is, and we'll show you what an actual installation of a septic system looks like, so stay tuned. Well, Roger Katchuk here. I'm here with Craig Hepton, and Craig is the Senior Public Health Engineer at the Broome County Health Department. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you get your septic system installed in Broome County. And we'll later on go through an actual installation so you can see that, but I think it all starts here. And I just want to say, Craig, thank you for letting us come in and talk to you and pick your brain a little bit. And can you just give me a little bit of background on yourself, how long you've been here with Broome County Health Department?
I've been at Broome County Health Department for 2.5 years now. I started here coming from the town of Ithaca, where I was town engineer for 20 years.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're coming from one Tompkins County to here, and you know all the counties are different as far as what they do, installation-wise. In Broome County, about how many systems get approved through this office and installed every year?
We do about 150 to 200, depending on the year and how many come in as new houses, how many come in as replacement systems.
I see. Do most people have their own engineering done, or are they coming here to utilize what you have?
90% of the systems we do are replacement systems that have the homeowner comes to us, and we'll do the permit system with them and go through getting their system taken care of. And
it can be more cost effective coming up here if the system, you know, fits into what can be on the file here, or does it matter?
It is much more cost effective to come to us as opposed to a private engineer.
Yeah.
We only charge about $190 for the permit fee, and that gives you the design, the inspections, and a certification that you have put it in correctly.
So if you own a house and you haven't even pumped or done anything, and all of a sudden it's on the market and it sells, and the inspections call for a test and it fails, and now we've got a septic we got to replace, what's the basic format? What does that homeowner do in like a bullet point list? What's the first thing they should do? I'm assuming it's coming here first, right?
The first thing you should do is come here, or they can also go to our website and pick up a application for construction permit for a septic system. Fill that out, give it to us. We will take that, put it into our system, and in about 24 to 48 hours, the homeowner would then need to get a hold of us to have a soil cut done on their site.
Yeah.
They are responsible for somehow getting about a 6-foot hole where they want to run an excavator or get somebody to come in to dig the hole for them.
Yep.
That's entirely up to the homeowner. A technician from this department will come to the site and we'll take a look at the soils and the profile going down 6 feet to see what it is the soils are. We also take a look at if we run into any bedrock or if there's any groundwater that will affect the system.
So that type of soil, once you guys look at it, is going to determine what system can go in there.
The soil is one piece of determination of the design. We also base it on how many bedrooms you have and what the slopes are and what is available in different technologies for that system.
I see, okay. And then the basic types of systems that you're replacing, I've seen some funky stuff. I've seen everything from giant water tanks tilted on their side with a hole banged in one end. I've seen laid up block. I saw one well converted to a cesspool. I've seen the whole gamut. Is there any of this type of system that's really prone to failure, or they all are just because they're not modern era concrete tanks anymore?
Pretty much a lot of the older stuff, depending on the soils, is susceptible to failure. The modern techniques of putting things in and the modern materials that we use usually last a little longer than some of the older ones.
Am I right in thinking that depending on the size of the house and the soil we're looking at and the size of the yard, are there basically sand or you know, a septic tank system with an aerator or a septic tank with leach fields. Is that typically the two types we're seeing?
Yes, mainly we see what's called enhanced treatment unit, an aerator unit,
Yeah.
which has its pluses and minuses.
They're more expensive, they take maintenance.
They're more expensive, and you have to put yearly maintenance on them,
Yeah.
and you have a yearly maintenance fee. They produce a cleaner effluent coming out of the tank, which goes straight into a leach field, which may help your leach field last longer. The normal one is a septic tank to possibly a sand filter, and then just some other type of leach area.
I see. Depending on what the engineer from here looks at and says.
Depending on what we see with soils.
With the cut,
right.
Size of house, okay. Does it matter if it's up on a hill or not, or a slope? Does that come into play at all? I get that question sometimes.
If it's on a slope, it may matter in how we go about designing where you put your system and how your system's put in. Instead of having just that big level leach field, you may have series of stepped leach areas, trenches or something.
I see.
If it's too steep, we won't be able to work with it.
So I come in here and I've filled out my application and permits. Does the local municipality need to be involved, or they just want to know what's going on?
Normally what happens is we take, and when we issue a permit and specifications, we send something to the local municipality to let them, the code department, know that yes, these people are working on their septic system. So if they drive by, they may see it, you don't know it. When we're all finished and we do a certification, we also send that to them, and they hold on to those so that if somebody comes into the department, they can say, oh, that was certified back in whatever date that we've done the system for.
There's a good history for it. So to find an installer and someone that is approved by Broome County to do the cut and install, how do they go about getting that type of information?
All installers in Broome County have to be registered with us. They take an online course, we grade a test that they do, and they become a registered contractor for Broome County. We have a list internally that we keep. You can contact us, and you can look on the website and get that list of contractors that are available to be working on your system.
So they can get that list of homeowner, and they can call 2, 3, or 4 and get quotes and compare and see which is the best fit for them.
Yes, we highly recommend that you get 2 or 3 quotes unless you feel that you've got somebody you're really confident in.
Okay, so is there any follow-up done once the system's in and it's during the install, an engineer has to come out and look at that final layout before it's covered over, right?
What happens is, once we get the design, and we give you the design, and you go out and get yourself a contractor, and the contractor starts work, there'll be certain points along the line where we will have a technician come out, and they will make measurements of, are the pipes at the right slope, are they the right length, do you have the right amount of materials in the ground, to make sure that the install that's going in is the install that we have specified out.
Okay. Once it's in, and it's signed off, and all the paperwork's done appropriately, how long is a typical system maintenance schedule? Is it every 2 years, pumping? What kind of things are involved with maintenance?
Maintenance is going to depend a lot on the utilization of the system. If you have a 3-bedroom house with 2 people living in it, the maintenance may be a little less than a 3-bedroom house with 6 people living into it. It'll also depend on what you do with your system. If you're pouring grease down the drain, or you're putting a lot of wipes and that type of stuff down, you're going to need to get your septic system, your tank pumped. We recommend, and New York State DOH recommends, that you pump your tanks every 3 to 5 years.
Okay, all right. Well, this is great. So we know the process, what needs to be done to start out with, and then go out and dig that hole and have it put in the ground and go from there. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
It was very helpful, Greg. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi folks, so we finished everything we needed to do with the Broome County Health Department. We've talked to code enforcement for the municipality, and now we're out here doing the deed. So as you can see, we're well underway with digging, and I can tell you it's important that you have the right size machine to do this. The second thing is, you want to make sure you have the ability to solve any issues that come up on site. One of the things small things that happened here was the waste line needs to be replaced coming out to the tank, where originally we weren't sure if that needed to be the case or not. So it's being handled. The tank is in the process of being installed in the hole, and by the end of the day, this homeowner is going to have water, sewer, septic flowing out of the house, and it's going to be great for many, many years to come. Plus, it'll be easy to maintain because the lid for pumping out this septic periodically will be at the ground level, so it will be easy to see, easy to find. But it's a little bit of a process, but it's not that difficult to go through, and it's well worth it to do it right from the get-go, and you got smooth sailing for years to come. Let's take a look.
Me.